Hi, everybody. This is Miss Monroe again, this time with Chapter 8 Vocabulary. Just a reminder that I'm going to be focusing on nouns again, would be a person, place, or thing. Pronouns, which is just when you replace a noun with like she. Instead of saying Miss Monroe, you would say she. Instead of saying uh, Bob, you would say he. Proper nouns, which would be nouns that have their proper title. These are capitalized. I bring this up because a lot of you guys keep trying to describe nouns with other nouns and mess up that bottom portion of the quiz. So, here we go. Okay, so our first word is virulent. It is spelled Virulent. Again, it's Virulent. Virulent. It is an adjective, and it means number one, extremely poisonous, or number two, malicious. A good synonym for this might be spiteful. So, a good sentence would be the firemen had to wear masks that would protect them from the virulent fumes. In this picture, in this episode of SpongeBob, if you remember, he gets like the abrasive side and is very virulent or malicious or mean to everybody around him. So it either means something that's extremely poisonous, like a snake, or it means if you're talking about intent, like somebody is spiteful or evil, doing something just to like get at you, then you're only going to refer to people there. All right. So it's only poisonous if you're talking about like plants or animals. But if you mean it in the sense of like being malicious or mean, then you're only going to be referencing people, right? So you wouldn't say my dog was so virulent that he, I don't know, may ate my shoes, right? Because your dog wouldn't be mean or spiteful like that. That would be for a person. But you would say like the snake was so virulent that it killed the man 2 seconds after he bit him. Our next word is summarily. Summarily. It means in a prompt or direct manner. A good synonym might be immediately or straight away. It is an adverb, one of the few adverbs that we have. In this sentence here, the pronoun he was shocked to arrive at work only to be summarily dismissed right away. So here, he is the noun. He is summarily dismissed. So summarily is describing the verb dismissed, right? So adverbs describe verbs, which are actions. So he was dismissed right away. Our next word is vacillate. Vacillate. And it means to waver in mind or opinion. A good synonym might be indecisive or unsteady, to stagger, vacillate. It means going back and forth, and it would be a verb. So it's something that you do. So I use this picture here because a lot of people, when they go to vote, might vacillate between, the Democratic or the Republican side. They go back and forth, they waver. They think they're going to vote Democratic, but then they step up to the booth and they vacillate. It's a verb, it's something that you do. They vacillate and change their mind and vote Republican last minute. So again, vacillate is going back and forth, not necessarily like physically going back and forth, like I vacillated from one side of the room to the other. It's more about vacillating opinions or vacillating your state of mind or something like that. The next word is tenable. Tenable. It's an adjective, so it is going to describe nouns, right? So it means capable of being held, maintained, or defended. A good synonym might be defensible or reasonable. This refers to ideas, not objects. So you would not say, the pencil was tenable in my hand, meaning it was capable of being held, or the baby was tenable in my arms. You wouldn't say it like that. You would say, the right to free speech is a tenable belief in our country. It's capable of being held, maintained, defended. If you were arrested, you would hope for a tenable defense, right? So it could be an idea that is well maintained, like your excuses or your reason for whatever you did are very tenable. They're reasonable. You would want to write a research paper with tenable logic. Our next word is interpolate. Interpolate. It is a verb, so it is something that you do, and it means to introduce between other things or parts. So to introduce between other things or parts, like you put in the middle. A good synonym might be to interject. Another shade of definition here is to alter a text by the insertion of new matter, especially deceptively or without authorization. So, in this sentence here, with the addition of a few online quotes, Edward was able to completely interpolate his debate speech. So here, Edward, the proper noun, is interpolating. That's the verb, right? So he's trying to introduce something into his debate. And he's using quotes. He's inserting these quotes. You need to be careful when you interpolate material from online because you don't want too much of that in a research paper. And you want to make sure you quote all of your interpolated information in that research paper. The next word is indubitable. It's fun to say. Indubitable. It's INDUBITABLE. Again, it's INDUBITABLE. Indubitable. It is an adjective, or it's an adjective. Sorry, it's an adjective. So it's going to describe a noun. It means certain, too evident to be doubted, indubitable. You cannot doubt it. Impossible to doubt. A good synonym might be unquestionable or indisputable. You would say some people feel like their religion is an indubitable truth. In that sentence, indubitable is the adjective describing the noun truth. Indubitable truth. You can't doubt it. It's self-evident. Indubitable. You cannot doubt it. Here I put two words together, and you're going to see why. The first word is succinct. It is an adjective, and it means brief in writing or speech. Brief in writing or speech. A good synonym might be concise. This is a positively toned word. You would want your speech to be succinct. You would want it to be brief. Get right to the point. When you write your research papers, you want them to be succinct, right to the point. And it's an adjective, so it's going to describe nouns. So you would say the succinct debate was very convincing, right? If you gave an excuse to someone, hopefully you would hope it was very succinct. It was very to the point. The other word, verbiage, verbiage is a noun, and it means even though the Bible is filled. Oh, sorry, I was reading the sentence. It means wordiness in writing or speech. So see how this is like the opposite? Succinct means brief and right to the point, and verbiage means like way too wordy. There's way too many words in there. The wording expresses something in words that is long-winded. A good synonym for this is a great word, is rigmarole. Superfluity. That would be another good synonym for it. A good sentence would be, even though the Bible is filled with verbiage, it is still easy to understand. Now, the difference between these two words, besides just in meaning, is that verbiage is a noun, right? It's a thing. So in that sentence, like the Bible is filled with, right? Whereas succinct means something that is to the point. So you would describe a noun with the word succinct. Verbiage is just, it is what it is, because it's a noun, it's a thing. Okay, so these two words mean the opposite of each other. However, don't forget that they are different parts of speech. The next word is recant. Recant. It's a verb, so it's something that you do, and it means to take back something you've said, to withdraw a statement or belief, to rescind would be a good synonym, or renounce, deny, repudiate. Those would all make good synonyms. The sentence here, Because we knew the man was the killer, we were shocked when he decided to recant his confession. So here, the noun killer, right? He is recanting or taking back his confession. A lot of times this has to do with criminal charges, or one person is being blamed for something, and they want to take back something that they said. A lot of times politicians may recant a statement, take it back because it got them into trouble. Our next word, love this picture, is inordinate. Inordinate means not within reasonable limits. Not within reasonable limits. And good synonyms might be excessive or undue, like way more than is necessary, inordinate. So you see in this picture, there's an inordinate amount of cute little kitties. There's way too many. Inordinate. Sometimes you guys feel that we give out an inordinate amount of homework. Inordinate is an adjective, so it's describing a noun. So inordinate kitties, inordinate homework, like way more than what is acceptable or you would think would be there. Inordinate amount of chores would be like way more. This is usually a negatively toned word. You would not say like, oh, I received an inordinate check in the mail today, because that would be positive, right? You want to say like a big check. But like, again, inordinate means way more than is necessary and something that is negative and that you wouldn't want. Paucity. Here's a concept a lot of you should get used to. Student debt. Paucity it means a smallness of number or fewness, smallness of quantity, right? Paucity. Good synonyms might be insufficiency, lack, want. This is a noun, it's a thing. So a lot of you guys might find a large amount of paucity in your bank accounts after you graduate college because you have so much student debt. So paucity is smallness of number or fewness. It has to do with numbers, and there are not many of them. Or if something is like physically small. Our next word is nuance. Nuance is a noun, and it means a subtle difference in tone or meaning and expression. A good synonym might be subtle difference or fine distinction. In this sentence here, although I have not seen Helen in 15 years, I can still recall every nuance of her voice, every subtle difference of her voice. In the sentence, the pronoun I is recalling every nuance, the noun, the thing. It's like recalling the object, recalling every small difference of her voice being in the noun as well. So again, nuance does not mean like smallness in, I don't know, like I noticed the nuance cat. You wouldn't say it like that. You would say, I noticed the nuances in the cat's fur. Next word is sophistry. It is a noun, and it means the use of reasoning or arguments that sound correct but are actually false. Um, so a good synonym for this might be false reasoning, right? Flimsy would be another good synonym. And I don't mean flimsy as in physically flimsy, I mean weak, like a weak argument. I picked this politician here, right? Because a lot of times, I keep talking a lot about politics this time. A lot of times, politicians will use sophistry to convince their base that, what they're doing is the right thing to do. When you go to write your own sentence, it will help you if you write it as like so and so uses sophistry, like it's a thing that you use. It's logic that sounds good but really isn't. Next word, idiosyncrasy. Idiosyncrasy is not the same as nuance. Okay, you can't interchange them. Idiosyncrasy is a noun as well. So it means an unusual way of behaving or thinking that is characteristic of a person. It almost always has to do with a person. You wouldn't say, I noticed the house's idiosyncrasy. Some synonyms might be distinctive, individual, particular. In this picture here, when I was younger, this was like a weird thing I did. When I wore socks, I would never wear matching socks. That was one of my idiosyncrasies. It's just like a weird thing that people randomly do. Like I like to grade in only Purple pen, if I can help it, that's one of my teacher idiosyncrasies. It's a noun, it's a thing, it's kind of like a weird way of behaving that's characteristic to a person. So, see, this is not the same as nuance. Next word is loath. Loath. It's not loathe, that's a different word. Loath. It means it's an adjective and it means unwilling, reluctant, declining to do something, to feel intense dislike or disgust for. So the sentence would be she loathed him on sight, or in the sentence here, I was loath to eating peas. Good synonym would be hate, detest, abhor. Okay, so in the sentence, the pronoun I is loath to, is reluctant to eat peas. It will help you when you go to use this word in a sentence to put the word to after it. I was reluctant to, or tried not to. Okay, I was loath to eating peas. The next word is propriety. Propriety. It is a noun, so it's something that you have. And it means behavior that is accepted as social or morally correct and proper. The state of being proper. Good synonym might be decorum, respectability, decency. This is a negatively toned word for sure. The sentence, when looking at Amy's flimsy attire, it is evident her propriety is nearly non existent. So here, Amy, right, the proper noun, is wearing flimsy attire, a noun, and it's evident that her propriety or her sense of like correct behavior doesn't exist. So here, Amy does not have any propriety because she's like showing up to the funeral wearing like next to nothing. Our next word, perspicacity. Perspicacity. And it means perceptiveness, the ability to notice and understand things that are difficult or not obvious to everyone else. This is normally a positively toned word. It's a noun, so it's a thing. It's an ability that people have to be perceptive. Perceptive would be a good synonym too. A good sentence might be Mark's poor financial decisions showed a lack of perspicacity regarding the stock market. So in that sentence, Mark, does not have a whole lot of perspicacity. He does not notice or understand things that other people do notice, which makes him lose all his money. If you were a detective, for example, you would want to be known for your perspicacity. You can notice things that most other people would just let go by them. How you say this word is minutia. Minutia. It's not minutiae. It's minutia. It's a noun, and it means a small, unimportant, or trivial detail. A small, unimportant, or trivial detail. Good synonyms might be details, niceties, finer points. It does not mean small objects. So you would not say that girl is so minutia to say that she's small, she's like tiny. No, it means like small details. So a good sentence might be I am bored with the minutia of everyday life, the small details of everyday life, like doing the laundry. That is a small detail of everyday life. It can get very tedious when editing your papers because you're looking for all the minutia, the trivial details. We're almost done. The next word is germane. Germane. And it means relevant or appropriate to something that is under consideration. So a good synonym might be relevant, pertinent, applicable. Okay, so if you take a look at the sentence here, the president will only respond to media questions that are germane, related to the economic crisis. So in this sentence, germane is an adjective, right? It's describing the noun question. So the germane questions related to. It's this thing that's related to. You could say, this is not germane to our theme. It's not related to our theme. Next word is peremptory. Peremptory. It means leaving no opportunity for denial or refusal. You can tell in this sentence that it's an adjective because it's describing a noun, the noun being tone. Again, it means having no opportunity for denial. having or showing an insulting attitude to people who think they should be obeyed without question. Positive or assertive speech, tone, manner. There's a few shade of meanings to this one, but if you look at the sentence, the prison guard spoke to the inmate in a peremptory tone because his tone was one that's like insulting with attitude and assertive. Because here the prison guard thinks that he is above the inmate because he is. Sometimes kids get like really insulted if a teacher speaks to them in a peremptory tone. Ooh, is that it? Yay, that's it. Okay. I actually think this unit is one word short, which is fine. Just know that our next unit will have one extra word. Okay, thanks. See you in class.